What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez. Lauren Khalil is somewhere in upstate New York, I think, doing something.
Floating in the ether somewhere.
Yeah, floating in the ether. So what does everybody want to talk about today? We'll get to that in a second. We got obviously some things to chat about. We're going to talk to Chris Ibarra. Lauren interviewed him this morning before she skipped town. He's going to be one of the rookies at the CrossFit Games, so we get to hear from him. He's been training with Jacob Heppner, and I think pretty soon he's going to go do some work with HWPO, so that's exciting. And then, like we did last week, we will go through the men's rookies and kind of put them in tiers. Who we expect to just kind of show up and get their free gear and have some fun. Who is going to make an impression, and then who actually has a chance to do something special. Before we do that, we want to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Thirdsy, the PM Recovery Collagen powder that has absolutely been a game changer when it comes to me getting better sleep and improving my recovery. You drink this stuff before you go to bed at night. It tastes great. It has magnesium, L-theanine, and GABA. It helps calm your nervous system and support deep and REM sleep, because we all know that high quality rest is vital to your performance, as consistent workouts and nutrition. So look, you got to get that good rest. Now, I still do not get enough sleep. I've said this a million times, but thanks to Thirdsy, I'm getting some pretty quality sleep when I am, getting the rack time, and I'm able to get up early. I took a few days off from the gym, going back tomorrow morning with my dad group on Fridays at 5 a.m. so we can work out and have a little coffee afterwards, which is nice. We go hit Phil's.
Ooh.
Yeah, just down the street from NC Fit, and just hang out and, just talk about dad stuff. But Thirdsy's awesome. You guys definitely need to check it out if you're looking to really take your sleep game to the next level. You can go to Thirdsy.com, use our code TEF, and you will save 20%. So Thirdsy.com, the code is TEF. You'll save 20%. They got like little travel packs, which are absolutely money. They make a fantastic product, and we're super happy that they're on board.
And recent developments in the Marquez household has us stockpiling some Thirdsy while we can.
Thirdsy.com, use the code TEF. Do you want to start with that? Because that's okay. Well, we got to congratulate Tommy Marquez, because I've known about this for a while, and I have kept my mouth shut, and I'm so happy for you. But Tommy and his lovely wife Tiffany are expecting their first child at the end of October. Congratulations, man. I'm super stoked for you guys.
Thank you. Oh man, I think you might have been the first person that we told outside of our parents.
It was during quarterfinals, I remember.
Maybe even during the Open, because I think I told you.
No, it was during the Open. You're right.
Yeah, it was in the studio. It was it's been fun to finally actually have it out there publicly. Like I'm not good at just like holding that stuff. I'd rather just blast it out to the world. And obviously, first trimester we kind of held on to that, and then Tiff wanted to tell some people in our lives in very particular ways, and it's fun to get that out. And man, it's cool that Halloween's the due date. I'm holding out that I've said this joke before. I'm holding out that we can maybe make it Dia de los Muertos, and I can fulfill my Mexican prophecy.
He is the chosen one.
Yeah, or she. Who knows? We don't know the gender yet. So we're waiting. But yeah, it's exciting, man. It's been even just these first the 22 weeks, I believe, or so, and have just been cool just to start to wrap our heads around being parents and trying to gather intel and make note of the lessons that we've learned from people like you and Sheena that have been super helpful and been good models for that. So it's gonna be fun. Our families are so stoked because my wife and I are both the oldest, and neither of our parents are grandparents yet.
Oh wow! Okay, so they're
like chomping at the bit, and like if there is, I think I told this story on our Q&A because I told our patrons a little bit earlier. When we told them at what was supposed to be my birthday dinner with our parents, which was at a pizza place. and I slipped the reveal in right as a plate of wings came down onto the table. If you
Mhm.
want to find out the difference between men and women here, I Tiff's Tiff's mom basically asked me, he goes, "Oh, Tiffany, are you gonna have some wings?" And I chimed in, I said, "She better, because she's eating for 2." And both moms immediately like, "What?" Waterworks. Neither of our fathers heard a word that came out of my mouth.
Nope.
They had missile lock on that plate of wings that were coming in,
Mhm.
and then suddenly they kinda come out of their, like, daze, and they're like, "Why are we crying over these wings?" Tiff's mom basically, like, slaps her
Uh,
dad in the chest. It's like, "No, you doofus. They just announced they're having a kid." And then, it was all
I'm super stoked for you guys because I remember when my son was born, 4.5 years ago now. One of the first people you were one of the first people I thought of when I got to hold him for the first time. I was like, man, I can't wait till Tommy experiences this. Like,
oh,
it's gonna
man.
be. And I know you guys know the gender, but you haven't, you know it, but you don't know it. Like, it's been discerned. You just don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It is in the envelope of truth currently, so
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
listen, man, congratulations. That's yeah, super stoked and glad to finally make that public because I've been wanting to like drop like little jokes and every now and then. I've got
Yeah.
to like, and I'm terrible. Like my brother and I have the same like affliction of where once a joke forms and starts, it's gonna come out and it's got
Yeah.
some precarious situations in the past because we don't have like the fail safe systems are always late in stopping that thing getting verbalized. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we've been able to keep that under wraps. But
Yeah.
congratulations.
I almost let it slip when, we were talking about the Rogue Invitational a while back, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to go this year," and then everyone's like, "Why?" And it's like,
Because of I'm a big fan of Halloween, and it's a
Yeah.
week-long festivity in the Marquez household. Yeah. All
So,
right. Well, congratulations. Well, obviously,
thank
the
you,
other
man.
thing we want to talk about, if you've been, I don't know, living under a rock in this space, and you don't know, yesterday, I made it official. I've known about this for a couple weeks that I am not going to be calling the CrossFit Games for the first time since 2011. Like, it's been
Yeah.
12 years. Uh, First of all, I just want to. I'm not stupid, and I knew that when I put that out, like there would kind of be a thing. I had no idea it would get the response that it has. Like, I am blown away by the comments, the people who have reached out to me, the support. Um, I cannot thank people enough. Even if you just like hit the like button, uh, for all the support I've been very lucky in my life to have a couple instances where you feel love, you feel support, you feel like an overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I wish everybody had an opportunity to feel that at least once in their life. And I've been lucky to have it a couple of times. And yesterday was certainly one of those times. And I always end this show with kind of the same thing, take care of each other, be better. And that experience to me yesterday was a big reminder about how I need to work on being better. I'm going to really try moving forward to kind of be uh, more tolerant of things, not be as quick to anger sometimes that I can get, try to be more forgiving of people, try to make more charitable assumptions on things. Now, who knows how long that's going to last? Because, once I get poked, that might all go out the window, but I'm certainly going to make an attempt to do that. Now, just to update people, Don Fall texted me last night, and said that, he knows that the decision is disappointing, thanked me and said that they still like to work with me in the future if I'm up for it, which obviously I would be. I care too much about the space and the sport, but I still have not gotten an explanation. So if and when that happens, then I will let people know. But I just wanted to take a second to thank everybody who reached out, commented. Like, you have no idea how much it means, and I want to make it clear. Like this, I'm not just going away. There's more events this year that I'm planning on doing. Big one in Scotland that I'm
Yeah.
planning on being a part of, uh, and some other ones that are out there as well. So but it's funny when they say we want to keep working with you. Like, I did two things this year. I did one open announcement and a semifinal.
Yeah. And that's with, like, it's the sad state of the sport, is that there aren't a lot of reps to go around in the
Yeah,
first place, right? And I thought you did, it was a master class in being, like, professional and graceful in that announcement, because, like, you have felt that personally, that and been on the wrong side of that when, like, when you get pushed out of these things like that, like usually usually a one-way street,
Yeah,
right? Like,
that
and
door
so
doesn't usually come back open.
no, and so it's great. It's glad to hear that there's potentially a door open, and I know some things would have to change for that to stay open for you. And but like it's it's frustrating to see that happen in the way that it did because you deserve better, like flat out, like
Well, we'll see. Like, I don't
eh,
know, but
for sure. No, but even regardless of whatever the context and grace and understanding given to anyone that's involved in this decision that has happened, like giving them all the grace in the world, you deserve better than that.
thanks.
There's a level of professionalism that you have set a bar for, in how you handle people behind the scenes and how you deal with people and how you uh, treat people with a baseline of respect. From the time I first met you 13 years ago to, you know, 10 minutes ago when we were talking about the games, like you have always treated people with that level of respect. You have been the, you know, I shoot easily the person that's helped trailblaze the widest path for so many of us in this space, right? And it's you would expect that people would in return give you that same level of respect, and it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that you got that from everyone else in the support that was shown in that time, and it's deserved. It's
Well,
like
thanks,
it's
man.
earned. It's earned for
I
sure.
really do appreciate that. And it's, look, I'm not the only one. You've dealt with this. There's a lot of people who have been part of this. Bill Grundler, Nikki Brazier, who's been doing this for 10 years, Caleb Banfield, Jeremy Austin. Like, there's a huge group of people that have like are just kind of twisting in the wind year to year.
Yeah.
And that's been the case since 2018. And I think, like you said, there's only so many reps to go around. And all people want to know is like, all right, what's the plan? What should I plan for? And how are we going to execute that? And I used to have to do that when
Yeah.
we were at HQ. And it's not, I'll never forget the conversation I had to have with Chase Ingram when we made the decision. I remember having the conversations internally about, like, we looked at the resources we had and where we had needs, and his name came up as like the best guy to shift over to the color commentary spot, given his vast experience in the space and his knowledge, the way he is on air. And we all thought that, this would be a good thing to try. And to have to tell him that, hey man, we're going to move you from play-by-play to this, like, that sucks. Like, I remember that conversation. I was in my backyard, like, having to talk to him about it. And he was obviously like had some questions, and look, it all worked out because he's fantastic. And I want to make sure that, like, people understand he and Adrian Conway and Mike Arsenault are going to do a fantastic job covering that event. Like, this community is in very good hands.
Mhm.
Chase is as OG as they come. Like, you want to talk about being involved in this community. The guy has competed at the games. He's run an affiliate. He's an affiliate rep. He walks the walk. He talks the talk. He's been involved in the media team, like, busting his ass for probably as long as we have.
Yeah.
And
No
so,
doubt.
like, he more than deserves this opportunity. Absolutely. Like, there's no question. He's going to freaking crush it. And
Yeah.
I can't wait. I hope people understand that. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But there's so many people involved in this that just are kind of like, well, we don't know what's going on. And I
Yeah.
feel like there's no communication from the start of the season where you reach out to kind of your regulars and say, hey guys, here's the plan. Here's what we're trying to do. And as long as you do that, then people are understanding. But it's just like no one knows that. I mean, there are people who I'll leave it at that.
Well, and I mean that's a prime example. Like I mean, you said it yourself. To a person, that's the difference between how you operated because you were responsible for doing a lot of those connective tissue tasks when we worked there, and you always made sure, even if it was not the best news to deliver, you were out there in front delivering that news face to face or in the most personable, like in person way possible, and you were the one letting them know. It wasn't like this random through the grapevine weird stuff, and it was and and even then it was always done with a way that tried to carve out space for other people to continue doing it even if it wasn't going to happen right this moment,
Yeah.
if that makes
I
sense.
hated having to call Jeremy and be like, hey man, we just can't bring you over. That
Yeah.
sucked. Um, or other people who work super hard because there's just not enough, like I said, not enough spaces. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not slamming that door. I'm not going away for it. Like this is not the end. It's just like the end of a streak, really.
Yeah, it
Uh,
genuinely makes me curious slash a little concerned around what the coverage plan is going to be in terms of what they have budget for, if that's the case, right? Like you were right. Like there were like Chase and Adrian and Mike are do a great job. The full scope of who's being hired for the rest of the jobs for teams and stuff like that is not fully known. But like just going off of what we've known in years past, like that last year we were on ESPN. We had a desk. We
mhm.
had teams and individual coverage. We had
Yeah, Dave Ryan hosting it. Dave Ryan has been in this business for 30 years
yeah
and has
yeah
done games for the like NHL broadcasts, like
yeah yeah
football, all kinds of stuff. A total pro.
yep and I mean, I was on the desk for ESPN last year,
Yeah,
and usually that's my spot. Like
yeah.
that's how I know we're doing a desk segment that usually works as the bridge for
Mhm.
these ESPN live shows and post production shows. Right? It's kind of like the bridge between events and airtime. And I'm not being brought back, so I would guess that they're not doing a desk. So that would mean pared back coverage for ESPN. So it's like
We'll see.
first year in a new spot, all these expectations, you've saved money on the venue, but you're going to pare back your media coverage on the big network on your big network partner. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact plans are either, but I will tell you this: like everybody who's in charge of putting that thing on, everybody's involved in like the actual boots on the ground putting it on. They all care and they're all going to work their asses off.
Yeah.
And they're all going to like try to do right by this thing. So
Yeah. The people that are actually working the trucks, the
yes,
cameras,
that
the
crew is second to
yeah,
none. They're
yeah.
fantastic.
That has been that will always be the case.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's really all, and that's all I have to say about that. Uh, but again,
Uh,
I just wanted to thank everybody. I'm like seriously just blown away by this whole thing. Um, and we shall see. And I want to just like I'm gonna be there cheering on Jason, Adrian, and Arsenault because I love those guys and they're gonna freaking kill it. And it's gonna be good. They're
no
gonna
doubt.
do a really, really good job. So
It's also I think a good reminder of why we need to show our appreciation for people like outside of just moments of like I don't want to say crisis or conflict, right? Like
mm,
I don't know, like the outpouring of support for you has been like inspiring to me too, right? Like it's been awesome to see because it's deserved, but also like we shouldn't have to wait for like maybe it's just a good reminder, a PSA, like hey, if you appreciate someone whatever they're doing, like let them know because it's
well,
important.
yeah, I think it's a really great that's a great thought, and it's something I am certainly going to try to keep in mind here because, like I said, these moments tend to refocus me and make me take a hard look in the mirror about okay, how can I be a better person, better dad, better husband, better business partner, better like everything, better friend. So I'm certainly going to try that.
Hey, I mean, if we're being honest, like this isn't the first time this has happened, right?
Yeah,
We got cut in 2018
right.
and came back from the dead there.
Like that shirt. Like this is indeed this is actually my first rodeo. Like
Yeah,
that's not we're not wearing those shirts, but
where it was Fez Will Ferrell's character. Oh, shot me in the arm. I'm so
I'm bleeding.
badly burned.
All right. Okay. Well, that's the stuff we wanted to just get out of the way before we get into some headlines here. So let's actually talk about some of the stuff that's going on and some of the stuff that's going on at the CrossFit Games. And they got this announcement that there's going to be like a Friday Night Lights event at Farrington Field on Friday night at the CrossFit Games. And this is something where I think CrossFit should be doing a lot more of.
Yeah,
It's these community events that they have around either semifinals or the games where you give fans a chance to actually show up and be part of, stand on the whatever the competition floor is going to be and feel like professional athletes. Wadapalooza has always done a great job at this. Syndicate Crown did a great job. I think this is a win. They're doing it late enough to where heat shouldn't be a problem. And look, okay, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a. It'll be bad, but it won't be, Satan's rear end hot.
I mean, it's first off, I love this idea,
Yeah.
right? Like you think about, we're both football guys, right? Like
Mhm.
Friday Night Lights, football, Texas. It's like
That's
is
the
America,
birthplace.
huh?
That's the birthplace of
It
it.
is, and it's like as American as it gets. And if you want to talk about something that's quintessentially that location, it's a good way to like wrap the culture of the area into it. Now, 8 p.m., the sun won't be down yet.
Yeah.
So the sun will still be out. And assuming that if there's a hard 8 p.m. start time, they said events there. So it's possible teams, individuals could both go. We also know that like from back in the day in Carson, like the sun was setting as those events were starting to take place.
Mhm.
And it's high likelihood August is one of the hottest months
Mm.
in Fort Worth. And around was it like 8 p.m. I mean, Thursday at today at 9 p.m. it's going to be 91 degrees with
Whew.
52% humidity. So
Eek.
it's it's still gonna be
It's gonna be toasty.
it's a little soupy for sure.
The thing I think you need to keep in mind is most stadiums are oriented north-south, so that there will be, depending on how low the sun is, there might be some significant shade on the field.
Yeah, which you hope for, or
Fingers crossed.
and I would hope that because depending on and this is another thing that goes into it, right? Like, what is the material of the football field, right? Is it natural grass? Is
Yes,
it is it
that's
turf? And if so, how does that material absorb heat and then radiate heat off of it? Because you get into some of those like artificial turf fields with the rubber pieces and the heat, man.
it's synthetic turf.
Yeah.
So that's back in my day of covering Jaguars in Jacksonville, had synthetic turf on their practice fields at the time, which has since moved.
Mhm.
But they wouldn't practice on it during the day because it got so hot because of that black rubber granule stuff that makes up the base of it. Like they would go practice on the grass. So
Yeah. So
that's a really good point.
yeah. So it's very likely it could still be like high 80s, or mid 80s during that time at 8 p.m. with some sun out. Hopefully there's some prep that goes on that helps protect the field, keep it cooler. Um, I don't know. Maybe Rogue can do something spectacular that like, yeah, I mean, they always are able to do amazing things that make that experience better. So I love it. In theory, I love it. I really hope they're able to pull this off in a way that's safe for the athletes and makes it a really cool event because like, I don't know, even just thinking about the lights, like the stadium lights turning on
Oh yeah,
and like that atmosphere on a Friday evening, like,
awesome. I'm going by, this is the Fort Worth Independent School District site that says Farrington Field has synthetic turf.
oh,
So
okay.
but then let me see, there's another thing here. Visit Farrington is used. Uh, let's see. Farrington Field is a Fort Worth ISD sports facility located, blah, 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 with a natural turf field and an all-weather track. So I'm getting conflicting information here.
Ew. It it's because I do feel like the tide is kind of turning back again because it seemed like forever they were like you were seeing everyone switch to those artificial turf fields,
Yeah.
not the astroturf, but like the ones with the rubber pieces,
Mhm.
and then slowly it started going the other direction, and they're like actually natural grass is the best for athletes for safety for a variety of
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
But
Well, we'll see. I think like you, Tommy. I think it's a great idea, and I think they should do a lot more of that at all of their competitions. Next thing we wanted to talk about briefly is that we mentioned this last week, and Lauren was covering it. The tactical games. I think it's a regional qualifier that was going on in North Carolina. A couple well-known CrossFit Games athletes competing there. Jacob Heppner, who's just been a tactical athlete, he's a tactical games like dominant force.
yeah,
Finished second. I think it's the first time that he's finished second in a long time First time since 2022 that he hasn't won an event he's been in. He finished second. So that just tells you the kind of dominance he's been experiencing there. And then Saxon Panchik competed for the first time, finished 12th out of 17. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's like with all the cross-pollination that's going on between tactical games, high rocks, and CrossFit, there should be a thing like the Arnold Sports Festival where you have a weekend fest of all these 3 competitions and you just have at it. And you bring everybody who's interested in and think about everything. Like you might get some tactical athletes more interested in CrossFit athletes interested in high rocks athletes want to do CrossFit. Like where's the loss in that? It seems like that whole ecosystem would benefit from working together.
Yeah, and I feel like you could dedicate a day of each festival to each one of those disciplines, right? Like that way there is that cross pollination of like a CrossFit Games athlete knowing like, hey, I only have to do one day, whether it's a high rocks event or a weightlifting event, powerlifting, strongman, whatever it may be. And then for a high rocks person, honestly, most people in high rocks, it seems like, have some experience or influence from CrossFit in the first place. Like, Buttery Bros were at the World Championships in Nice, and they were interviewing people like, hey, what's your background? They're like, oh, started in CrossFit, like, or that hybrid athlete type focus. So why not throw a one-day fun CrossFit competition that the high rocks athletes can also hop into,
Yeah, I know Chase has talked about this. I think he talked about it on Get With one of their podcasts about making the first event of the games a high rocks event. Like, why not? That would be cool. I think it'd just be fun to see, and we've talked about it. See CrossFit athletes take on that event and what the comparison would be. So anyway, wanted to get you updated on the tactical games, and then another thing we got coming up this week. We failed to mention this at the top, but the Reps Ahead Pro event, and they've got a pretty cool lineup. You got Sydney Wells and Paige Powers, Kyra Milligan and Kelly Stone, Jake Marconi and Malachi Bennett, Nick Matthew and James Sprague. And if you haven't checked out the Reps Ahead thing, it's a pretty intriguing format to where they have 2 athletes go head to head in AMRAP, and the goal, and it ends when one athlete gets a certain amount of reps ahead of the other, and that's the winner. And Paige Powers, actually, mad respect for Paige Powers for the way that she announced the fact that she's going to be there. Let me see if I can find this, because it was pretty funny. She there she is. Where is it? Okay, this must be it. Okay, let me. So she does a box step up with a pair of dumbbells, like overextends the hip to show like hey, look, I'm standing up straight, and then she hops down and then makes the announcement. So I thought that was. I love when athletes and people can kind of make a little fun of themselves or have a little laugh at their own expense, and so respect to Paige for doing that.
Yeah, I saw that and spit my coffee back into my mug.
Let me see. I got it right here. Let me see if I can share this. Yeah, so there she is. Can we start this again? I'll close it here. I'll close it. We'll start again, and then we'll look.
And it's a photo of her doing the box.
Yeah, so there it is. Like she steps up and blam. Yep, that's a good rep. And then she proceeds to make the announcement. So hey, Paige, good on you. Mad
didn't see you there.
Yeah,
while you're here,
practicing my full extension on a box step up. But I like, dude, that Reps Ahead thing is very intriguing. Like, it's fun to watch, and they're starting to get like bigger athletes involved in it. And yeah, that is definitely something to keep an eye on as they continue to grow that competition, because it's one of those things where people always say, okay, well, how do we get the athletes competing more and not wear them out? Well, this is it. It's like a one event. You can go head to head. It's not going to mess up your training schedule. It's not going to jack you up for a couple of weeks to where you can't like compete. It's a really, I think, definitely keep an eye on it. I'm a big fan of what Reps Ahead is doing, and it's going to be streamed. I think it's on. I know Brian Friend is involved. I think it might be like on the Be Friendly YouTube channel or the Reps Ahead. I'm not sure, but there will be a stream. Check out Be Friendly Fitness. I'm sure he'll have all the details, but yeah, I'll definitely be paying attention to that. Okay, final thing that we always do each week is we are pairing with or partnering, I should say, with our good friends over at Barbells for Bullies. It's our dog of the week. As we are in the dog days of summer, we're trying to trying to get some dogs adopted, get them some homes here. And our dog of the week is this guy, Frodo. He is a senior citizen, loves toys, lounging around. He's crate trained. He is located in Austin, Texas. Okay. Currently hanging with folks at the Austin Pets Alive. That's at Austin Pets Alive if you want to follow them on Instagram. He's looking for his forever home. He's a loving 9-year-old senior who has recently returned to the shelter due to no fault of his own. Frodo loves to play and is incredibly bright and likes puzzles and a good snuggle. If your home would be a good fit for Frodo and you're in the Austin area, please fill out an application today so you can provide this dude with a great home for the rest of his days. And there's a link in Barbells for Bullies Instagram. If you haven't followed them, please do. And you can also maybe reach out to Barbells for Bullies. They do facilitate adoptions that are out of state. So if you're someone who's outside of the Austin area and you're still interested in giving Frodo his forever home, you can reach out to Barbells for Bullies, and they might be able to help. Look at that guy. They might be able to help you out with that. So we are really trying to get some dogs adopted and do some good here in the community. So if you can, adopt Frodo. Give him a call.
Oh, that photo.
That's
the senior dogs too. Oh,
man, they're the best. I got a senior dog on my hands too. It's
same.
Just lays around and just gripes at you. That's it. Get out of my way.
Oh, yeah. Ours just barks at his sister anytime she tries to get him to play. He's like, yeah. But.
All right. Well, those are our headlines and just some things we wanted to talk about.